Okay, we got it? I still hear the song. Okay, great. So, hi everybody! Hello, hello! Thank you. Yeah, make some noise. It's allowed. We can make some noise. That's good. Yeah. So, first of all, really welcome, and it's a pleasure to have all of you here, okay? And also at home. Maybe my family also watching. Yeah? Hello, my mom. Hello, my wife.
My wife.
What's up, Mom?
Yeah, definitely. They're supporting. And it's really exciting moment for us as a company. It's really an exciting moment for me personally to be here and stand in this amazing place, really amazing place. You have to be honest, how amazing is it? And first of all, before I even get started, I want to say thank you, really, for all the people that make it happen. And first of all, I want to say thank you to Eyal, that I won't clap for Eyal, because he did a lot to make it happen. And just months ago, I was sending a message, Eyal, we have an event, let's do it. He said, yeah, let's do it in a second or two.
50 people, right?
Yeah. So, más o menos. So this is where we get started. And also we had the other amazing partner that joined us. We have Matt from Leadstrom AI. Leadstrom AI that giving sponsorship for this event. And Matt also going to talk about outbound marketing. Beyond that, where is Eliad?
Eliad!
Guys, please. Yeah. Eliad is a big guy, help us a lot to get all the things done. So thank you very much, Eliad. We really appreciate every moment that you invest for this event. Ovestro also give a great sponsorship for this event. They're going to talk about that through. Honey, please, everybody hearing you. And what else? Thank you. I said to everybody, thank for Jonah. Okay, please make some noise for Jonah. Jonah did a lot for the event, invested like his whole time. Rebecca time? Where's Rebecca? Rebecca's in. Oh man, we need to bring them, like, call them, okay? But really, Rebecca, his girlfriend, really helped us a lot. And like, we really want to thank to everybody that really invest your time and coming to hear what we're going to talk about today. And really the topic of today is how to build a thought leadership. And that's what we're going to talk about. We have amazing speakers. Okay, we have Brad. Okay, clap for Brad. We have Kim. Okay, that's going to talk about AI and video podcast. Where is David? There you go. Okay, we have David here. Okay, and Matt. Let's go. So that's it, and also me. I will also talk for a bit. Okay, just for a bit. Yeah. So you really have your notes, okay, and with a pen and things like this. So you can take like notes, question, things like everything that you want, because we will have a 7-minute talk, each of the speakers, and you can write question or whatever you want. And at the end of all of it, we will see how much time left, according to what Eyal will say. And then we will have some time for question and networking. Okay, does that work for you? Fantastic. So let's get started. Okay. Jonah, I probably will need your help. Thank you for that. Oh, wait a sec. Yeah, fantastic. Yeah. Just a second, guys, as always. Fantastic.
Let's go.
Okay. So I want to talk with you about thought leadership. Give me just a reminder of the 5 minutes. I want to talk with you about thought leadership, but in a way, first of all, I want to talk with you about, a regular call that you have with someone that inspire you. Do you remember this moment that you had with like such a call or something like that you felt like there is electric inside the meeting, okay? and you go out of it and you go like fully inspired, right? You walk out of it and you say, wow, I need to change something. I literally see the puzzle like getting together, like all the parts coming true. So this is like what I got like for my journey with people. And then when I call them, most of the time and say, hey man, hey, you have to talk about it. You have to write content about it. They say, yeah, well, I don't know. And those that say yes, they're like, you know, Jonah, maybe I will need you here, please. Thank you. Most of them like, what now? Okay, if I say that I want to write content, so most of them go into like, you know, some blog posts, how-tos, see all this kind of stuff. There's a huge wall that they can cross. And most of the time they just break through into the wall, just post something and get not a lot, right? And then they say, like, you know, another day, okay, they say, maybe I should learn something, maybe I should learn a little bit of the how-tos, how to do a post, things like this, but I will just take it for tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow, and you're never posting. And then you're not working on your online authority. And that's exactly what I want to talk with you about today. So, hi, shalom. My name is Netanel. I'm 30 years old, married to my amazing wife, Linoy, that's watching us right now in the video. Born and raised in Ashdod city, which is in the south of Israel. And right now I'm living in Tel Aviv, and I'm coming pretty often to the city. I want to give you the logic understanding of how online authority work. I just want you to understand it, okay, on the very, very basic of understanding of how the logic thing working. And about 4 years ago, I invented this formula that actually working in every formula, and you can check me about that, but like especially on LinkedIn, okay? And this formula said like that you have 3 kind of main things that you need to do, which is profile optimization, who to connect, and content creation. Now, if I will go into each one really, really quickly, I would say that in the profile optimization, can go, okay? As long as the visual and the bio, the content that you have, this is as much as you will improve your conversion rate. You need to think about your profile page as a kind of a landing page. Meaning, like as much as is better, the traffic that you will get more clients into it, okay? So that's, you know, something that's really important to know. But the real question is, how do I bring the traffic in? How do I get people to look at my profile, generally speaking? And then the first thing that you need, the second thing that you need to do, it's really, first of all, to build the right connection, to build the right network. That's the first thing that you should do. And if you look about like what you think, so first of all, always quality over quantity, always, okay? And the first thing I will follow the top companies in the industry. I will see what's going on. This is how I keep like update with them. I will follow the top industry leader. Who is the people that really leading the industry? And like I can check like what's their discussion, what they talking about. Same thing about past potential clients. I will add them to see what they are in. And for sure, professional growth. And lastly, which is the last part, thank you, is like with the content creation. Now, when it's come to content creation, people immediately think, okay, I need to create a post. But it's not really true. Because the first thing that you need to do when it's come to create content is have a comment. You can't believe how amazing impact you will get once you will make a valuable comment. You can't believe. You will get a lot of traffic out of it. And it's like stealing traffic. Because you're just adding a small comment, and then everybody see it, and most of the time they get notified or anything like it. And then they jump into your profile, and as much as your profile is optimized, this is how you will get more and more followers that will be converted into deals at the end of the day. Okay? So start with commenting. And then, wait a second. Out of the commenting, what you need to do, you need to learn what working, what not. Okay? Like you comment on one topic or another, so you will start to see some traffic that's coming into your profile. And out of it, you will understand which traffic you want to get. Okay? And according to that, you will optimize what you want to talk about. And then, when you know what you want to talk about, go and do it. Make a post. And regarding post, I can say one critical thing. Make it valuable and readable. That's it. People don't read content. People scanning content with their eyes. If they see value, they go, they read the line of the value, and then they start to dive deep in. But if it's not valuable and easy to scan or read, that's it. Same thing about video, in my opinion. We have an expert of video in a second. But like, first of all, bring the value to the table. That's the most important thing, at least in my opinion. Now, yeah, this is like an example of like how I think readable content should look like something to pop in your eyes. You can skip it. Now, all of it, you definitely can do it. But it sounds like a lot of things to be done, right? It sounds like you need to be marketers and all this kind of stuff to really execute this thing. And this is where most of the people stuck, right? So we are here today to really tell you that we definitely can help you with that. So Q is actually a platform, you can skip this one, that covering all what you need in terms of what we cover. If it's profile optimization in the onboarding process, if it's like who to connect, who's the people that you should connect or not, we exactly show you in the onboarding process, we understand who you are, who is your clients, and according to that, we're giving you the recommendation. Think about that like as a suit that someone like tailor-made for you. They're telling you exactly what the discussion that you should participate, who is the people to add, and in terms of content creation, we will help you to get that. Because what we're doing in content creation, we have an amazing assistant, and this is what I want to invite you. Can you skip on that? Can you skip? We have an amazing AI assistant by the name Jessica, that Jessica, what she offers for you, she offers like 10 minutes of a call, and you get 2 weeks of content. Now, in this call, and I know that there is few people in the audience that tried this thing before, and this is like expert interview. She go really deep dive into your most golden nuggets that you can ever imagine, and she really like asking you about your expertise, about what do you do, just about your work, about your professionalism. That's it. That's what she's talking about. And once you finish the call, you get like enough content for, let's say, 2 weeks, which include most of the time five posts and 2 articles, okay, just out of a 10 minutes call. And this can be a routine or some habit, okay, that you can do in order to take it. Now, this is where AI and authenticity playing together. If we will think about machine as something that's coming to replace us, we're going to lose this game, okay? It's not for us. Because if we will go to the ChatGPT and say, hey, please write a blog post about X or about Y, it will never get to the same level that you will give, okay? It will never, okay? Even though that the technology is really amazing, okay? But what we need to do, we need to take this technology to our side, okay, and really use it in the way that we can utilize the AI with involvement of us as a part of the content creation, okay? So that's what we need to do. As long as we are more involving, such as like interview or whatever it is, this is how we can balance between the AI and the authenticity. And that's the thing. Now, what we want to do, we want to encourage, and you can move on. We want to encourage people to really go and share their wisdom. That's our goal. We want that more people will less be focused about the technicality of marketing, if to do like with this thing or another, if that's the right structure or not. We want you to just focus on your wisdom, on what do you do, and we will take all the rest, okay? That's it.
Hey. Right.
Now, next one, Brad. I know that it takes more than 7, probably.
I'm sorry?
I would say that I took more than 7.
Do I use both of these?
Yeah.
All right. All right, my name's Brad. I am the founder and chief storyteller at Spectrumer. I'm excited to talk to you guys about developing a founder brand on LinkedIn. Who here, any founders here? Maybe a show of hands? Okay. These, the principles, even if you're not a founder, they apply to pushing your agenda in the workplace, whatever that might be, trying to keep top of mind for a promotion, or maybe angling for a new job. So, slide, yeah. Oh, yes, Jonah's going to help me. Jonah's going to help me with my slides. So a little bit about me. I was an in-house marketer in B2B SaaS for 12 years. I'm reformed recently, an entrepreneur. I've been helping executives with their presence since 2012. Back then, it would be about getting into Forbes or Inc. And somewhere around 2017, it started to be more about the presence on LinkedIn. Now, I came up in the rise of inbound, and that was the era of SEO, optimized content, building links, capturing that traffic with ebooks, and then pounding them with marketing emails until they capitulated and bought or unsubscribed. And that has changed a lot. So who here in a selling function or marketing has seen kind of degradation in quality and output of leads and pipeline? Yeah. All right, you're not alone. There's a few factors. Obviously, it's a tech winter. The economy has something to do with it, but it's crowding. Everyone is using the same playbook, and also Google is working against us. 60% of searches now terminate what's called zero-click, and that is because Google takes the content from that we worked so hard to write, and is putting it in the search results, and they're serving up more ads. By the way, those ads cost 15% more every year. And then cold email, the favorite tool of SaaS companies, went from open rates of probably 30 or 40, 50%. This is 10 years ago. Now you're lucky to get 1%. So there's a light at the end of the tunnel, and I believe that to be LinkedIn. Some people might be rolling their eyes. I know LinkedIn sometimes has a reputation. Your inbox is full of spam, people trying to sell you stuff, performative, and potentially icky feeling posts. And I'm here to tell you that if you're there being authentic, being yourself, and you're educating, what's going on here? You're educating and entertaining and inspiring around doing better work, you're in a good position. People can relate to that. For better or worse, LinkedIn has become the water cooler where people congregate. So we're not at events hanging out and meeting people. We're on LinkedIn, we're having conversations. And at the end of the day, I believe it works because people influence people and conversation drives commerce. Next slide. So next, a little bit about founder-led. And founder-led is old hat, I guess. You think about Steve Jobs, Mark Benioff, these guys, the charismatic leaders who stump for their company. It just used to be different tools, events, PR, stunts. Now, what happened during the pandemic is that there were no events to go to. So founders took to LinkedIn and they normalized the behavior. And it works. You look at guys like Sam Jacobs from Pavilion, Adam Robinson from Retention, Pep Laia from Winter, Peter Caputa from Databox, and sadly I'm mentioning all men here, but Alina from Chili Piper is great, Bethany from SendSpark. So there's definitely plenty of women there, but I guess maybe I'd like to see more of that as well. And essentially, there's money on the table, and if you're a founder, you want to be there. So just maybe fast forward to what life could look like. Kate is a client of mine. She is in the e-commerce space. When she started on LinkedIn, no one really knew who she was. Now she's a top influencer in the space. But more importantly, a third of her revenue comes from LinkedIn. So there is a recipe for success here. I think what is also compelling is that in the last 15 months, she did about 2 million impressions. Meanwhile, the website did 40 million. So that's just a testament to how hard it is for your content to be seen. All of us marketers toiling away in the sweatshop to create that content, and it just goes unnoticed. But you too can do this. And the formula is fairly simple. It's not rocket science. Anyone can do it. So it's connections. And if you're in a mid-market and enterprise product or like a high ACV, long sales cycle, it's simply connecting to people that you can sell to. If you're looking for jobs, you connect to people you want to work with, right? And then it's content, so that's sharing your ideas around how you do work better, maybe your product and services, or what the future looks like. Unique points of view that are different from what everyone else is doing tend to work better. And then finally, comments. And Netanel mentioned that as well. Commenting is powerful. It's the kernel of conversation. And when you go back and forth a few times, those comments slide into the DMs. And before you know it, you're talking about a commercial agreement. All right, so where do we go from here? there is some nuance here. So strategy is, an important component, and the connections and commenting part is almost the easy part, right? But what to write about is the hard part, and obviously Q helps that a great deal. But you need to have some sort of strategy right around your zone of excellence, the value propositions that your product has. But still, people struggle with it. I have a free email course that you guys can check out. There's a QR code to scan when I finish. That will kind of get you started. Then you want to scale. You don't want to jump into the deep end of the pool and start, doing everything every day. I would start just by trying to max out my connection requests. I think these days it's probably a couple of hundred a week that you can get out. And then I would start layering in the comments, engaging. And commenting is powerful in a couple of ways. It gives you ideas for what to write about. It helps you find your voice. And more importantly, it creates an engaged audience so that when you start sharing content, people will reciprocate. I also am a big advocate of repurposing. That blog post that marketing worked on, that might be 4 different LinkedIn posts. The slide deck that you did for a webinar last week, that might be a post for every slide in the deck. Finally, actually, automation. So connection requests, it can be a manual process. Especially for who's viewed me or who's commented or liked on my posts. But Dripify is a good way to automate it if you have some lists. I like Q for ideation and what to write about, Aware for sharpening your commenting strategy, to help you focus on who to comment. You could have named lists, you can have influencers you want to follow, reciprocation on people who are commenting on you. Taplio is kind of an all-in-one. It also does some AI writing. And then execution. So execution, I think my solution here is fairly manual. There's an idea list, right? And then there's time boxing. So it's not just time boxing the writing, but it's also making time to plan. What idea should I write about next? You go to your time box for writing, and that way you can write unfiltered. And then finally editing, you have a fresh set of eyes and make it pretty and ready to go. And then finally, analyze. You can't really move what you're not measuring. I like Shield for seeing how posts are performing, growth over time, and that allows you to see what's performing, what's not, and optimize your strategy accordingly. And I would say this is a long-term strategy. Like any marketing channel, it takes a quarter or two to see results. Some more sleepier areas of LinkedIn where there's not a lot of activity, you might see results right away. I would say those are the more fortunate cases. If you're in B2B marketing and sales, it's like being at a concert and speaking to a friend, and you're screaming at the top of your lungs and it sounds like a whisper, but over time it does still work, because essentially the atomic unit of LinkedIn is the connection. It's a two-way relationship, and people will see your content. The early signs that it works is people might be in your network and say, "Oh, I saw your LinkedIn post the other day. That was great," or a prospect that you hadn't talked to in like 6 months was like, "Oh, I love your post. Like, let's talk again." And over time, like leads start to come in. Those people get it. They see your content. They understand what you do. You don't have to spend a lot of time convincing them. The deals close at higher rates, close quicker. And then, if you work at it, you come out top voice on LinkedIn. When you're going to hire, it's way easier to hire people. And then over time, the measurement of the LinkedIn channel is very similar to SEO. In fact, I think it's almost like a new form of SEO. And SEO is like kind of a brand play. You measure it not in a direct response, dollars in, dollars out, but over the course of a year. I put in X amount of money, and then over time, these are the deals that were attributed to LinkedIn through like people mentioning it in the sales cycle. And last slide. So scan this QR code. In that, you can connect with me, send me your questions. You can sign up for my LinkedIn branding course, and then you can have the slides as well. I have a few of the slides that were just pictures with some annotation and stats, and that's all I got for you.
Thanks, Brad. And I didn't get a chance to introduce you, I'm sorry.
Oh, it's good. I think people met me, right?
Yeah. But if you didn't know, Brad has been a leader in marketing for 10 plus years. He served in executive marketing positions for companies like Pipedrive, Forage, Agree, and Bridge, as he showed most recently, and today's leading Spectrumer, the LinkedIn thought leadership and growth shop for businesses. So thank you so much. That was great. So next we have Matt Cretzman, who's a guru when it comes to marketing, growth, sales automation. He's fueled this passion into his agency, Stormbreaker Digital, and his tool, LeadStorm AI. So we can't wait to hear about it.
Awesome. Thank you very much. All right. Y'all ready to listen fast? Because I'm ready to talk fast. All right, cool, excellent. 7 minutes. Every time I practiced, it was 27, so hopefully I can shave off 20 minutes. Okay, I'm going to give you guys what's that? Okay, I'm going to give you guys a real-world application for how I'm using AI to build my network, okay? Step-by-step process. Number 1, take out your phones. Don't stare at me. Take out your phones. Step number 1, take out your phones. Number 2, open the messages. Number 3, put in that phone number, 817-934-1222. Next step, put the word pipeline and hit enter. If you did that, raise your hand. Man, y'all are rebellious. I got a 7-minute time limit, all right? All right, if you did that, yes? Shaking some heads? All right, cool, excellent. You just gave me your banking information. Babe, let's go on a cruise. All right, thank you very much. No, I'm just kidding. What you actually did was you texted my AI assistant. What an unbelievable world we live in right now where everybody can have their own AI assistant. Isn't that wild? So this is my AI assistant Thor, which is actually from my platform LeadStorm AI. And the topic I'm going to talk to you guys tonight is how you're going to build a limitless network, strategies, and what I call the pipeline principle. How many of you can relate to this sentiment? Back when I was a teenager or in college, I did not expect to be up here today talking about automation, AI, lead generation, LinkedIn. Can anybody relate? Like, yeah, my domain of expertise was never in my foresight or, was a part of my plan. Yet here I am tonight talking to you guys about this. It's really interesting. But as I look back on my life, I can see that I was always kind of destined to talk to you guys tonight about what I'm going to talk about, which is building a limitless network or intentional network building. My goal tonight with the short time that I have is I want to reframe how you think about networking, how you think about your pipeline. I'm going to tell you 2 stories, give you 3 takeaways, and hopefully at the end, NetNow won't kick me out of this room because I've taken too much time. All right? I love you, bro. Thank you. Excellent. Okay, great. So a few short years ago, my pipeline literally became my lifeline. To help you understand what that means, we're going to go back in time a little bit and show you a couple pictures. Aren't these adorable? When I was a teenager, I took a lot of trips to overseas to developing nations, and I developed a heart very early on to help people that were facing things that I couldn't imagine was their reality. And so from a young age, I wanted to start a nonprofit to make a difference. Can anybody relate to that? I want to help people, which is why I think most of you are here in this room. You're an expert because you want to help with that expertise to make people's lives better. If you're not, get out. No, I'm just kidding. But we want to help people, right? That was my goal. And so in 2010, I started a nonprofit, and I was very pragmatic. I just wanted to raise money so I could go make a difference somewhere else. You're actually seeing a screenshot of my Excel spreadsheet. Actually, it was Google Sheets when it rolled out. It was like the hottest thing. I was using Google Sheets to be like my CRM. And I was just focused on raising money and connecting people so I could make a difference. But what actually happened was the people I put in my pipeline, as I would call it, had so much bigger impact on my life than I ever could have imagined. Because in 2012, there was an event in my life that I never expected. I was in a car accident in February 20, 2012 in North Carolina. At the time I had Aslan, who was 3, Madison, who was 18 months, she's now 13. And on that day, this accident took my firstborn when she was 3. And as hard as that may sound, or you can imagine it was for me as a dad to lose my firstborn child, what I learned was the people that I networked with and put in my pipeline, because I thought it was for one thing, it was actually for another. And the intentionality behind who you network with and build your business, build your personal brand matters more than you realize. You're building a lifeline to not only grow your business, to help you grow, but to fuel your growth and endurance through things that we may not experience. And so some amazing things happened from this. And this is what brought it full circle. To illustrate the point, in 2012, after that happened, a few short months, I ended up connecting with this guy right here. His name is Danny. This is in India. I went on, all the relationships led me to India. I went there, met Danny, and he had a heart to help the 35 million orphans in India. That relationship, 8 months later, led to him asking me, Matt, can we partner up and can I name it after your daughter? And let's start a children's home. Unbelievable experience. It's one of the greatest legacies of my life, 11 years later, having helped hundreds of kids in India. Your pipeline matters more than you think. Two years later, after starting this orphanage, this girl right here in the middle, Mary Shanti, she told me through Interpreter, which brought it full circle, can I call you daddy? She said that to me. And that's when I realized I will never think about networking the same way again. I will always think about my pipeline as so much more than hitting quota, getting sales, and closing business. So to illustrate the point, your pipeline is your lifeline. Again, not just for sales, but to fuel incredible opportunities, deep connections, and even personal fulfillment. I'm going to tell you one more story, and then we'll get into the takeaways. How many of you are not married here tonight? Not married. Excellent. Look around the room. Now you know who to mingle with afterwards. Okay. Excellent. If you want to know how to find love on LinkedIn, I got a masterclass. Or we'll give it to you later. Okay, so no, my wife is here tonight. She's awesome. I actually met my wife. I met my wife through my activities on LinkedIn, as crazy as that sounds. In 2000, and this is a screenshot of our first message, babe. This is so cool. This was the first time we spoke online. It was super cool. Principle of outbound marketing. Okay, we're talking about outbound marketing. How do you build your network? When outbound marketing, what you always try to do is find commonality between you and them. That shortcuts what we call the trust cycle. That's the rub you feel when somebody messages you and they didn't do the research. You know it, they know it, and they're just trying to, to bluff their way through it. But what I did here was I leveraged trust because 2019, Lauren Vanek, she was a client. 2022, I saw a picture of Lauren and my wife Nadia on her profile. I'm like, I know Lauren. So I'm like, I'm going to borrow trust from Lauren. I'm going to start a conversation with Nadia. We then went on a first date. And in the same year, we got engaged in Paris and got married. And then went on a honeymoon around the world and filmed a documentary, which is actually pending. And that is a true story. And that's coming. So it's so amazing. Like when you practice these principles and think about your pipeline differently than you would traditionally, like, I just got to close more deals. Be more strategic, and I love the strategy around building your brand and your list. So how do you do that? How do you build an intentional pipeline? Because I believe, yes, it is next, the ultimate force multiplier. Let's get into it right now. So now, after running like dozens and dozens and dozens, probably 100 or more outbound marketing campaigns over the years, I've noticed 3 commonalities when I'm running campaigns. All right, BCT, brand content traffic. Not going to talk about the first 2, we're going to talk about the third, traffic. The most important thing when you think about traffic is your list. Next. List building with purpose. Go on to the next one. When I'm list building for an outbound campaign, you're like, how do I get a spreadsheet of people that I might want to do business with? Do this, psychographic spelunking. Ask these questions. What are they passionate about? Get to the heart behind the outreach and try and find people in Facebook groups, Slack groups. Are they going to conferences? Do the research. Okay, next. List building with purpose. The second thing is AI, personalization with AI. Some tools that are radically changing the game. 347 billion messages are sent every single day, and marketers are only getting better, outbound marketers. So what you have to do is use tools that allow for what we call this crazy area that we're in right now, hyper-personalization. Custom field first name, it's not enough anymore. Image personalization with GIFs, not enough anymore. You need to use tools like clay.com, LeadStorm AI, that personalize it at the most extreme level ever. You know what they had for breakfast and you're sending them a text. Like that's kind of where we're at today. It's kind of crazy. But personalized videos, they convert at a 15x response rate more than just blank text. People don't want to see it anymore. I don't. Please use video. It's going to accelerate the process, especially when it comes to trust. My highest performing email campaign, 2 slides left, was when I did exactly this. I scraped contacts from a Slack community. We had built-in trust, mutual interest, got their emails, did some outbound. Everybody loved it. 76% open rate on a cold list. 23.5% reply rate. That was 300 messages, filled my calendar for 3 months. How would you like to be filled with meetings like that for 3 months? Like, oh, give me that money. Like printing money. That's what we're doing here. Next. Excellent. So that's it. All of the stuff that I've been doing on LinkedIn and outbound, it has led to the most incredible relationships and experiences in my life. I'm here because of this stuff, and I met Net, and I'm here to talk to you guys because of what I've been doing over the past few years. It's radical. Outbound works if you work it. But I want you to think next, more than anything, connect with intention. You are not alone. There are people that care about your expertise and they want to hear about it. Take the time to do the work to find out where they exist and be personal in your outreach, and it's going to change your life forever. You might even find love. You never know.
Thank you so much. We're all going to walk away with some more people in our intentional pipeline. So next we have Kim Rittberg, who's the founder of Henry Street Media, a 6-time award-winning agency helping to elevate professionals and businesses through video and podcasting. She's served as an executive in creative video and marketing positions at Netflix, People, AT&T, and founded the first ever video unit for Us Weekly. So we're super excited to let Kim go.
Awesome. I'm going to do every 15 seconds for the first 13 slides. It's tight. I'm telling you, it's tight. All right, we're all in a selfie. This is what we're talking about. Yeah. Smile. All right, you're in a video now. Say AI. Say we love Q.
Q.
All right, we did it. Success. You don't even have to see my presentation.
Love it, that's it.
Yeah, that's me, the whole presentation. All right. Hands in the air. If you are, not if you're Kim Rittberg, that's me. That's my name by my amazing graphic designer. We can start with the next slide. All right. Raise your hand if you're hiding from the camera. Oh my God, we got a lot of showy people. Raise your hand if you've been on camera or video in the past month. All right. Okay, amazing. Nice. Hiding from the camera is hiding from clients. Video is the most efficient and effective way to grow your brand, your thought leadership, your revenue, your leads, your income. I'm going to be talking to you today about how you could become a thought leader through video and podcasts. I'm going to be giving you my 4 S's, very actionable tips. I want you to raise your hand for each one of these that is a challenge that you're feeling. Raise your hand if you're feeling invisible online. All right, only a few people admitting to it. Let's be real. Raise your hand if you're spending time online but you're not seeing impact. Okay. Maybe it's not bringing in leads and clients. We could spend all the time we want on LinkedIn, but that's really what we want. Raise your hand if that's a challenge. Okay. And I want you to also raise your hand for if these are your goals. You want to get leads and clients from LinkedIn, from other social platforms. Great. You want to be a thought leader? Everybody wants to be that. That's why you're here. You want to get speaking engagements. Awesome. Great. So that's what we're talking about. So you're in the right room. You're in the right place. What an amazing view. Thank you, Q. I want you to say action if you're going to take some of this knowledge today and you're going to take action. All right. On the count of 3, I'm going to say action. 3, 2, 1. Action. All right. Because I don't want you taking notes and tomorrow you're like, oh, I learned so much, but I'm never going to do any of it. That's useless. No offense. But we're going to take action. I'm going to give you tangible steps today, but we're going to take action. If I heard your voice, I'm going to stalk you online until I see you. Just kidding. I'm sort of kidding. I'm not really kidding. Go to the next slide. All right, this is me. Why should you listen to anything I have to say? This is the photo, you know, those people who play football in high school and they show their quarterback photo for the rest of their life on their screensaver? That's me. At the Oscars, I will be showing that photo till I'm 85 years old. Until people are like, what's the Oscars? I only live in the future with robots. I launched the first ever video unit for Us Weekly magazine, leading to its $100 million sale. I was a TV producer for about 10 years, covering business, technology, general interest news. I was a media executive, and I prepared thousands of people to be on camera and on podcasts. But I, like other people, was accomplished but anonymous. And I realized, see, I love this crowd. This is a great crowd. He's shaking his head. He knows. Raise your hand if you feel accomplished but anonymous. Amazing. So that was what I was. Amazing resume. People in New York would hire me. But like when I started my own business, we go to the next slide. I told you I'm fast. That's me. I was working during my second child's birth. I loved my career. Like it was amazing. Launching the video unit for Us Weekly, helping it sell, having a team that I loved was awesome. But I knew I wanted to take control. Being accomplished and anonymous, not helpful if you're a business owner, right? So I realized that I was hiding from the camera and I was hiding from clients. It's very hard to get clients if you're accomplished and anonymous when you're a business owner. So this is me now. I'm not saying this to brag. I'm saying this because this will be you when you really start taking that action. Now I run my business. I help business owners grow their credibility, visibility, leads, and income through video and podcasts. I contribute to Fast Company magazine. I'm a national speaker. I'm a 6-time award winner. Okay, that's bragging. And I've been featured in Forbes magazine. Literally none of that would have happened if I didn't start showing up on camera and launch my podcast. None of it. And so that's why I'm so passionate about this and why I love teaching business owners how to leverage video and podcasts to become a thought leader. That's just more visuals of me bragging. And I learned this lesson firsthand because I stopped hiding from the camera and I stopped hiding from clients. I really doubled down on this strategy that I'm going to teach you. One amazing lesson that I learned was I did this video on LinkedIn with someone. Go to the next slide. And this is the 4 S's that you're going to learn. Go to the next slide. All right. One video I did on LinkedIn got me 3 new clients. That video was free. It was one of those videos, it's like a Zoom interview with someone. I got 3 new clients. I tripled my speaking engagements since seriously showing up on camera, on my podcast, and really doubling down on social media. And I've quadrupled my inbound leads. One person, after that LinkedIn video that was free, literally free to make, got on the phone, inbound lead called me and said, I heard you and I realized I need you in my life. I'm like, yes, that's exactly the inbound lead I want. And someone said, who is that girl? I need to work with her. Like, that's what she told me. And she called me a girl and not a woman. Don't call me ma'am. I got $25,000 in clients from that video, and I paid $0. And now I teach my clients how to do that. So this is Marissa. Marissa is an employee engagement consultant, and I taught her about how to message and how to show up, not just better on camera, but actually be really clear with her message about why she was special and unique, which she is. I only take on special and unique clients. She got a Fortune 500 speaking gig. She signed a new client, and she got 2 podcast invitations. And that's from really leveraging this 4S strategy that I'm about to teach you. That's the 4 S's. Wonderful. Okay, the first S is show up. So we talked about not hiding from the camera. And honestly, I love that so many hands were in the room that you all are not hiding. So I'm going to push you even further. When you're showing up on camera, I really mean like on video. And if you don't love video, it's okay. You need to show up with your perspective. Resharing a press release, no offense, doesn't count. Reposting someone else's thing with a short comment, You really have to show up with your own unique point of view. That's what's going to make people invest in you, believe in you, hire you for speaking engagement, refer them to other people. The next S is simplicity. So this is a room of very smart people. I have CEOs coming to me, and they're like, oh, if I simplify it, I'm going to be dumbing it down. Simplifying content makes it smarter. It does not dumb it down. Like, I've worked with members of Congress, CEOs, authors. Everybody's message is important and smart, but until you simplify it, no one's going to even read it or watch it or communicate with you. So one video, one idea. And likewise, raise your hand if you have a podcast. Okay, awesome. So for people with podcasts, and I will also liken that to YouTube content, which is longer form, one idea. Your podcast is actually one idea broken down into smaller conversations. So then when you run that through AI or whatever clip machine you want, you run your longer segment into shorter pieces. Each video is one idea. So it doesn't even matter if you're starting with a long form piece of content. You're going to simplify that into shorter forms. Okay. So I want to just like have a huge groan if you hate the word authentic. Ugh. That was good. I heard some groans. I'm going to advance authentic and say this S is for shine. Yes, you want to be yourself, but you have to tap into yourself and say, what is really unique about me? Each person here has something. Maybe you're funny, maybe you're compassionate, maybe you're super wise, like maybe you're an extroverted introvert or an introverted extrovert or whatever. Every single person has that special something, but that has to shine in every single post, in every single video, in every single podcast. Back in the day, you could be a journalist and you just ask the question and you're like a conduit. That's gone. That period is gone. Podcast hosts, raise your hand again. I think you probably know this, but if you don't, when you're interviewing someone, you should be injecting your own special sauce because that's what people are listening for. They want to know what you're adding to the conversation because you're not just an objective journalist. You have a point of view and that's why you're there. And that's how you become a thought leader instead of just a person posting content. Selling. If you're selling, you're losing. Don't worry, this is like my second to last slide. He's trying to cut me off. Oh my God, I'm going so fast. He's trying to cut me off. If you're selling, you're losing. We've all talked about this today, so I'm not going to really hit this too hard, but educating and entertaining. That's what your content needs to be. You will down the line sell. If people like your content, they feel you're teaching them, they feel you're entertaining them, you will down the line sell them. But the more you're selling, the more you're losing. Okay, next slide. All right, future you is going to be getting more leads, more clients, more income, more speaking invitations because you promised to take action. I'm going to hunt all of you down on LinkedIn tomorrow. You can do the next slide. Okay, raise your hand if you're going to commit today to the 4 S's. Yes, yes, yes. Oh, back in the back, I see you. I'm just going to stand here until you raise your hand. Show up. Keep it simple. Shine. No selling. Okay, next slide. Next slide. And if you want to connect with me for a free strategy session, I can help you figure out how to use those 4 S's. I promise you the 4 S's are different for everyone. Some people hate video, that's fine. Some people have a podcast, you should leverage it differently. There's different uses of those S's depending on who you are. It's not a one-size-fits-all solution. So that's a free strategy session, that QR code's there. And then the next one, I have a free download on how you can leverage your content, how to leverage your video and podcast or content in general to get speaking engagements and clients. So that's what this download is for. It's a very specific one of like what to do with it. How do you make people call you and hire you to speak? So that's a free download. You can go back to the last one too anyway. You can go back, Cool, cool. And of course, connect with me on LinkedIn. That's what we're all here about. I want to say thank you for having me. And you guys are awesome. Thanks for being so fun.
Thanks, Kim. Okay, last speaker. We have David Berkowitz.
Yeah, you forgot yourself.
David is the founder of some incredible professional communities. You should join them. They're like Slack groups. They're awesome. AI Marketers Guild and also Serial Marketer. He's helping leaders stay ahead in the digital landscape. He's also served in executive marketing positions at MediaOcean, Seismo, Story Hunter, MRY, iCrossing, many others too. So we're excited to hear your speech. Thank you.
Which mic? Oh, is this working? Or do I need to use this? All right. Quick show of hands. Who's hoping I added extra slides? And who's hoping I have fewer slides than planned? Okay. Let's actually skip ahead to the last slide. Seriously. I'm going to do something I've never done before. I'm going to literally do something I've never done before. And I've given a lot of talks. And I'm like, you know what? Screw my slides today. I'm going to start my timer so I see it because I don't know how long this is going to talk. It's going to be like 30 fucking years. But I'm going to do this in under 7 minutes so we can get to some drinks and networking. And some of this was being inspired by these amazing folks who like got better seats than I did. They paid extra for them. But I just want to share a little bit about some of my experience doing this stuff, like building communities and doing this like thought leadership stuff. It's weird and it's often uncomfortable. I mean, who here identifies more as an introvert than an extrovert? A lot of folks here, and it's funny being in this like thought leadership room. I was like the shy kid growing up. Like in high school, I had like 2 friends, and then I kind of made a point to change that in college. But still, like I'm very happy to be just like sitting at home, like watching Netflix with my kid tonight and not being in a room. Like some of this stuff is draining, right? But forcing yourself to get out there can go a very long way, even if you get out of your comfort zone. And some of this is being willing to get out of your comfort zone. Case in point, and I'll see which of these things I even get to right now because I was just writing them. Sorry, guys. I was paying attention too. They were very, very good talks. But like when I started Serial Marketers 6 years ago, I started it. The history goes back a little bit longer because there are actually 2 layoffs involved, right? So don't necessarily come to me for great career advice. But I got laid off from this one agency under a Publicis group. They went from like 300 people to less than 100 overnight. Not really fun. I literally had to write the comms plan that was being used to communicate about this, and then they let me go. It was like just ruthless, right? It reminds me of that scene at the start of the Christopher Nolan Batman movie where like each, they're robbing the bank and each one has to kill the next person, and then it's the Joker at the end and kills them all. Anyway, fun times on the agency side. But I got the name. So when I was laid off from that agency job, I was actually about to speak at an event, and I said to the event organizer, got some bad news. I'm no longer going to be working there at the time of this event, but I. Like, do you still want to have me? And they were very kind and said yes. I'm like, oh shit, like I want a name on my badge. I don't want to just say my name. And I'm like, I don't like have any consulting clients. I'm not doing anything right now. I don't even think I had Netflix then. And so I jotted 2 names on a sheet of paper. One was Those Idiots, and the other was Serial Marketer, because a friend of mine introduced me on this HubSpot blog for an event that they were doing as Serial Marketer, not Killer. For those who don't know why, if you Google David Berkowitz, you will see some things that have nothing to do with marketing or AI or anything else I'm talking about. So the story really begins in 1978 with parents living in Westchester. My dad was working in the Bronx and did not know about the serial killer who, anyway. And then, so once I started this thing, serial marketer, I was like, oh, well, a lot of people might identify as serial marketers. No one's using that term. People talk about serial entrepreneurs, and that would be kind of fun. But, well, first of all, I didn't want to do some vanity project. I didn't want to do some friend of David show. And then secondly, I was like, starting a community based on a sick pun of sharing a name with a serial killer, like this is a really bad idea, even for me. And now there are 4,000 people in this community. People are finding jobs, and like now we're 6 years going strong. And so like just going ahead and I started this community, by the way, with really impressive technology, a Google form and a LinkedIn post. And then I was like, oh shit, a bunch of people want to join. I need to build this now. I went on Fiverr, found someone to give me a logo, and it kind of snowballed from there. But a lot of just like fits and starts and doing this more over time. When I started AI Marketers Guild less than a year ago, I wanted to do more with this and wanted to do more with the community, had all these plans for like Serial Marketers 2.0, and I'm like, I still don't know as much of like what the purpose will be. I want to do more with AI. It needs a new brand. I'm like, oh shit, now I've got to found a second community because I didn't see anything that was really like peer-led for marketers to learn from each other. I had this history of being the innovation person on the agency side, and then a history of building communities. It's like, I love the title of the Al Franken book, Why Not Me? And I think back to that a lot, right? Also, like last year, another reason to doubt myself was like, well, a lot of companies and businesses already had a head start. Last year, while it was like early, it also felt a little late to be starting something that involved AI. Like, I got to be late to the party. Now, I thought it was an ancient Chinese proverb that was the best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago, and the second best time is now. I just was researching on Google Gemini. I'm like, before I say this quote in a room full of people, I should see if it's an ancient Chinese proverb. And apparently, the first person to say it was an ancient Chinese proverb was some senator in Nebraska in the 1980s. So I'm not really sure it is one because it had been cited like a million times before that, before someone's like, oh, this sounds like, this will sound way better if I give it some heritage. And then the last bit of advice I'll share is, 'cause I've got like 9 other things on here, but connect. I'll send you the original slides. I'll send you my like AI tool slides. I'll send you all of the slides. I've got like buckets full of slides. I'll send them all to you. Okay? You want some slides? You'll get them. But the best advice I got was when I was actually starting at this agency, 360i, and I was like the first strategist they hired a while back was like writing stuff on like why blog, like will this Facebook thing ever like matter? And so I wrote one of these point of view pieces, and I shared it with the CEO, nervous as hell, and he gave me 2 words of feedback, and he said, "So what?" Right? And I wrote that on the back of my business card, and I taped it to my monitor, and my goal was to never have him ask me that question again. And so it's like when you're putting stuff out there, as long as like there's some so what factor, right? Like as long as there's some idea why someone who you want to be in your target audience will care, then it's probably worth doing, it's probably worth workshopping, and it's really a blast being with all of you tonight, and so glad to learn from these other speakers, so thank you all.
Thank you, David. Thank you to our speakers again. Let's get another round of applause for all of our speakers. Before we get back to like 20 more minutes of eating, drinking, networking, we again want to think about, this would not have happened without our sponsors, and we want to give them just a few minutes to come up, say something, tell you about them. So first we have Ayana.
Definitely another 2 minutes, not going to take your time to mingle. But let me say, it's a pleasure to have you all here. My name is Eyal Peled. I'm a corporate partner here at the firm. Like Nathaniel said, I hosted him here about a month ago and told him, you know, we can have an event here. Like I told many of my clients, but Nathaniel said, let's make it happen. And here we are today. Definitely one of the most, some of you who know me know that I tend to host these events. This is a very unique event, a beautiful event, and Nathaniel, thank you for this. A little bit about the firm so we know where we came to. So this is a U.S. law firm, and one of the largest law firms in the U.S. We have 2,700 lawyers and 43 offices across the world in over 11 countries. And this is our main office here in New York. We have 250 lawyers here. Moved to this beautiful building about 3 years ago, which was open on Vanderbilt.